What's up everyone? This video is a very detailed review of the Adidas ULTRABOOST 1.0 shoes. First of all, I just want to say that I bought these shoes and this video is not paid promotion. Nobody gave me any kind of discount, so it's just going to be very honest. If there's something I don't like about the shoe, I'm going to say it. So let's get into it. Alright, so this is pretty much the first time that I'm looking at these shoes, so any details that I like or don't like, I'm gonna point them out. Right away, the shoe box, here it is, just the classic Adidas shoe box, and it says all the details up here about the shoes, and here they are. I'm going to take them off onto this black surface right away, and what I see, what you might see too, is this shoe kind of looks absolutely awesome. Like honestly, just the design of it, it looks just very athletic and like very sharp looking. There's a lot of really cool details on the shoe that I'll point out. The sole looks really cool. Just honestly a really cool design for this shoe. So the clarity level on the look is without doubt very good. So now after saying all of that about the looks, I'm just going to imagine that I didn't know the price of those shoes. And now is when I looked at the price tag.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell, what the fuck, man? What color is the guy?
So with that, you guys better replay this video 1,000 times, because these $200+ better pay off. And actually, I'm also going to show you what they look like in white and black socks, just so you can see for comparison. Also, why is there a QR code inside of my shoe? Adidas has this new thing where they like want to end plastic waste. I don't really know what that's all about. So now they pretty much put that message inside of all of their shoes, as well as a QR code. So now let's start with the top of this shoe. These are called ULTRABOOST 1.0 DNA Originals, something like that. The DNA, I guess, is because of the breathability. Like you can literally see through the shoe, especially if you look like that. Look into the hole here, you can see how the sun shines through those little holes, which I guess is pretty cool. It really explains the breathability of these shoes. Now I'm just gonna cover all of the details I see here. These stripes here, they're all actually not really attached to the shoe, so it's just a separate piece. And then they have the white paint, the 3 stripe added onto it. Then they have this plastic shell here, which says ULTRABOOST. The word boost is in bold. These actually give it some strength, so you won't get your ankles rolling over it. Now the material here and all across it is different from the material here. It actually has a bit of a different stitching design. And then what I really like is that this tab, I'm not sure what it's called, it really is like a rectangular shape, so it looks awesome, especially with this. Honestly, just a very like sharp knife shape. You guys probably can say the same thing about it. This tab here is actually, if you shine a light at it, then it'll be reflecting, so it's like a reflective tape, which I've seen on a lot of shoes actually. Now let's look at the sole. This sole looks really cool with the white, and in the middle here it says torsion system in green, and then at the top here it says Continental, which is like a brand for rubber for cars, which is actually pretty cool. The sole has these little knobs which sink into the boost material, which give it like actually a lot of cushioning. Now let me talk about this boost material here. The thing about it is, like they say, there's like these little cloud looking balls, which is a pretty cool design, and they say it's got some insane energy return in them. I don't know how true that is, but that's why I'm going to actually wear them. I don't know if they really just made up something or if it really is what they say it is. One really huge question I have about it, you can see the texture of the little cloud balls. The question I have is, if you cut the sole open, will you see those little cloud balls on the inside too, or is it just the cutting design on the outside? If it is really what I think it is, then that would be pretty cool. It probably does have like a lot of energy return in the cushioning, because the balls compress very easily. And then the last few details, it says Adidas here on the front, and the laces are actually not that long. They don't really do much. They just kind of hold these two tabs together. And then another question I have is, what happens when you scan that QR code? I guess it takes you to like a page of where they say how much they're helping the environment by making their shoes out of eco-plastic. Again, I don't know how true that is, so I really just have to do a lot of guessing on that sort of thing. Now, about the weight of these shoes, the weight is actually very important because this is a very running type shoe. It's very like serious, so it's for serious runners only. I'm not a serious runner, I just like the look of these shoes. These are definitely not the lightest shoes I felt. Like, I can definitely feel the weight in the shoe. I guess the heaviest part is this rubber here, so I guess they could have made it a little lighter, but it'll take away from all the other aspects of the shoe. Now with me, I also have the Nike Alpha Fly. These are actually significantly more expensive. I believe these cost 200 plus something, 30-ish dollars, and then these are about $300. So I'm actually going to compare. I think these are actually a little bit better for runners, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to compare which ones you should get for all their different aspects. Be sure you subscribe to my channel so you can see, because I might actually do a separate video on a comparison of all the different running shoes and which ones you should do. Again, no paid promotion, no sponsorships, none of that, just an honest review from the very bottom of my heart. All right, everyone, this is now the moment where I actually put the shoes on. I wonder where that came from. So as you can see, this is what they look like with white socks on. Later in the video, not that much later, I'll show you what they look like in black socks, because they actually have a pretty significant difference because of these breathability holes. They actually cause the color of the sock to show through the shoe. So now I'm going to actually tell you how they feel, because this is pretty much the first time that I'm putting the shoes on. And the first thing I notice is, this is actually pretty cool. The sole is so bendy that they don't even really crease, because they are the crease. And because of that really soft mesh, you can actually move your feet around in there, which is pretty cool. So I guess that makes these shoes pretty good for standing on your feet all day, like for teachers. I would actually say these shoes are very good for people with wide feet or narrow feet. That works too. And the sole is actually pretty wide, and because of their wide sole, this actually makes the shoes very stable. And that's a word that you're gonna hear a lot from runners, because a shoe that's not stable is gonna be moving around a lot. So basically, if you take a step, then it's either gonna be leaning to one side or the other, and nobody wants that. But with this shoe, it's actually pretty stable on one side, even though the sole kind of looks crooked from the back. And now here's a close-up of the cushioning, because in the ads especially, I've heard them talk about them having like some kind of insane cushioning design. I don't know how true that is. I said that so many times already in this video. And also, I've seen them step on some kind of obstacle and see how like the sole goes into the shoe. I don't know how good that is on this shoe, because the sole is very thin for it, but it is definitely great because the black rubber on the bottom is very bendy. And now I'm going to test the running capability of this shoe, which is apparently very important because it is actually, in fact, believe it or not, a running shoe. Alright, so after running a little bit, I'm out of breath. What I like is that they actually hold your foot in place very well. So it's kind of, imagine like a very, very soft and tender hand that wraps around your foot. I don't know where that came from in my mind, but overall for running, pretty good. Maybe I'm just making stuff up because this shoe is very expensive and I don't want to feel bad for myself. And honestly, I feel like just a serious running shoe would actually do better than this more general use running shoe, because these are great for walking too, and they're decent at running, but in these you can basically only run, but they're really good at running. So that's up to you to make that choice. And also, one thing about the cushioning that I've noticed is that the front of the shoe, so like this region of the shoe, is actually very soft. Compared to other shoes, the back is usually softer and then the front is a bit harder, but on these, the front feels very cloudy and then the back is a little bit harder, which I guess makes it a little bit better for walking. So this is a great walking shoe. And another thing I've noticed, which is kind of specific to this shoe, but it's not really that much of a detail, is that the landing feels very smooth, again because of that cushioning, the fact that it can flex very easily. What I mean by a smooth landing is that when you land, just that movement of lifting up with your calf and then landing back down is a pretty smooth movement, so there's no like bumps on the way and you don't feel like a transition between this and this. That's kind of just my opinion, but other people might say something different. And now I'm going to show what these shoes look like in black socks, because the difference is actually pretty great and you'll see why in a moment. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what they look like in black socks. And honestly, pretty cool. I actually like them a little bit more in black socks just because of the contrast. And what I said about being the difference is that, as you can see, these holes here, which are for breathability, which are here and in this arrow formation and a bit on the sides, they really pop out, and that's because they're actually literally holes in your shoe, and the black sock really contrasts and pops out of those holes. But honestly, I kind of like it because anyways, it's not a completely black shoe, the sole is black anyways. So my opinion, I recommend them in black socks. It just gives you more bang for your buck. And now, last final thoughts. This is a great shoe, but the one thing I don't like about it, guess what? It's way overpriced. Like, this shoe could land on $130 maybe-ish, but definitely not $230. Because in most places that you're gonna buy, it's gonna be $230, around that range. In some places, you can get it for $200, like at Dick's Sporting Goods. And honestly, for $200, I expect something a little bit more surprising. Like, I'm not that surprised by this shoe. Yeah, it looks really cool. It's a nice shoe for walking and every day and just general use, but there's not like really anything striking. There's a lot of really good shoes that you can get for like $50 or $100, which could be at a much better price than these. But again, this is Adidas and Originals, so you won't really find a cheaper price than this. But I can't really say anything else. I don't want to get too negative. I'm not being negative. It's just that for the price, not really much. Alright everyone, that concludes the video for today. Be sure you check out my channel to see what else it's about. You'll find a lot of like fitness things on there and reviews about this kind of stuff as well. So be sure to subscribe. The next video on this topic will be a comparison of the Nike Alpha Fly versus these Adidas Ultra Boosts, because their price is pretty similar. So be sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when that drops. Now, I guess I said everything, but if there's something that you think that I didn't say, and if you want to hear the answer to it, then be sure you leave a comment down below in the comment section and ask a question. I'll reply within some time, hopefully, probably. Now, I recently hit 10,000 subscribers because 5 months ago is very recent. If you remember, I ate a ghost pepper for that. So I guess the next milestone is 20,000 subscribers. Hope that can happen before the year 2050. Now I'm trying to get to 200 members on my Discord server. Hope that can happen before the year 3000. Follow my Instagram. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers. Hope that can happen before the end of time. All of those links are going to be in the description and in the comments. Also, check out the cards, those little icons that pop up in the video. Just click on any links you want and replay this video 1,000 times, because these shoes were very expensive, honestly, guys. Just please make them pay off. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.